Hey, if you've got some old barns on your property, you've probably got a few questions about what you can do with them. And I'm here to answer the 3 most common questions that we've got about old barns. Number one question we get about old barns is, hey, my barns are old, they're in pretty good stage of disrepair, there's a lot of work that need to be done to them. Is it worth even fixing them, or should I just tear them down and build new ones? It's a great question. The real answer to that is that it depends on your situation and how bad they are. But I've seen some pretty bad barns, pretty rough shape, where it still made more sense to spend the money to fix them up because they were still usable. Now, if they're not going to be usable for what you want to use them for, that's a whole different thing. But they were still usable for what they wanted to use them for. We could fix them up for a fraction of the cost, often half or less of what it would cost to build a new one. Sometimes more, sometimes it might be up to 75% the cost of building a new one. New stuff's nice, don't get me wrong, but if you've got the existing buildings, there's a couple reasons you want to reuse them. One would be saves you some money. That's definitely a good reason. But the second reason would be they're already there, they're an existing structure, and sometimes with the zoning and bylaw and ALR and all the changes they've made, it's actually harder to build a new one than it was 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago when they built that one. So fixing it up, you're just doing a reno, it's still there, existing building. You don't have to mess with all the permitting and all that crap. So that can save you a ton of paperwork and a lot of cost, and potentially you might not even be able to have a building there anymore with new rules, right? So that's why I always recommend, let's look at how much it costs to fix it up, get it to the state you want it to be at, and let's just compare it. Here's the cost of a new one right side by side, and then you make the decision. Do you want to spend the money to fix it up? Do you want to tear it down and build a new one? About a year ago, maybe a little more than that, year and a bit ago now, we rebuilt a hay shed in Armstrong. He actually had called for a new building. He wanted to build a new hay shed. I went out to his property. I'm like, you've got a hay shed. He's like, I want to tear this hay shed down. It was a 50 by 80, and he wanted to build a smaller one, new. So I said, well, why not just save this? He's like, well, it's ugly. It looks old. I was like, what if we can take this thing, make it look brand new, and save you a bunch of money? So that's what we looked at, and we were able to do that. We did it for less money than it would have cost to build a smaller new one. We rebuilt it. We put in new posts. We put them on screw piles, kept them out of the ground. They're not going to rot. We did new roof metal. We did some metal down the sidewalls. We added extra bracing in the trusses. We added new knee bracing. It looks like a brand new building, still in the same spot it was, no permits required. We just fixed it up. So it was a sweet way to go. Hey, do you have an old barn on your property that you're worried about? It's falling apart, or maybe it's not falling apart yet, but you're just worried? That's why we created the 51-point inspection. That's where we have a tech come out, do a full 51-point inspection, starts at the roof, works his way through the whole building, all the way to the foundation, and figures out exactly what's going on with your barn, what's a priority, what you can leave and just watch out for this in the next 5 years, and gives you a full price breakdown on each item for that older building so that you know what you need to do to rebuild it, to save it, to restore it, to maintain it. If that sounds like something you're interested in, there's a link in the description. You can hit that, or give us a call, 844-503-6099. We'll get you in for a 51-point inspection, find out exactly what's going on with that barn. Yeah, another question we get commonly is, hey, can you modify an existing barn or existing building so that I can fit new equipment in it? I can use it, with new equipment, maybe new trucks, new tractors, bigger openings, that sort of thing. And most of the time, yes, we can. Now, if you've got an old, hip-roof barn, you're limited by the size. If the size isn't big enough, you can't modify it to work. Other than that, you can. The only other limiting factor could be on a barn that maybe has supporting walls in between the exterior walls. Like if it has some interior walls that are supporting the roof, that could cause a problem as well, because if you're wanting to make that a wide open space, we need some sort of support. But there's ways to work around all that. We can definitely make something happen if the size is right. Yeah, the third question is, hey, is raising the roof of the barn a realistic option? It is definitely an option. I actually looked at raising a barn roof for some fella near Armstrong not too long ago. He didn't end up doing it. It was more money than he wanted to spend for what he was going to use them for. But it's definitely doable, and it's definitely cheaper than tearing them down and building new. So you can jack the roof up, extend the walls. Usually you're gonna pretty much have to build new walls. But the nice thing is you save that whole roof structure, right? And you keep that in good shape, and you can get your extra ceiling height out of it. So there's a lot of savings there. I definitely would look at it if you've got some big barns. Like a lot of times you'll buy a property, right, and have these low chicken barns on it. You wanna raise the roof, turn them into something else. Definitely an option, feasible option. Let's take a look at it, see what it costs, weigh it out then. but it is doable. Anyway, I hope those questions, or those answers to those questions, I hope they helped you out. If you've got other questions that weren't answered in this video, just drop a comment below or send us an email, sales@ferrobuilt.ca. We'll get those answers to you, figure out what we can do for you.